Hello and welcome to the home of the Ghost Owl, continuing our Lizardmen faction focus, where we take a look at the army books from 8th edition for a faction and see how the units played and then how they might play in Warhammer The Old World. So we've taken a look at the lords and heroes and we're now on to the core units of the faction. So no surprises, first up is the Saurus Warriors. So in the centre there you can see that is a picture of the old Saurus miniatures ranked up there on their square bases. On the right hand side you can see the refreshed miniatures from Age of Sigmar, and you can see there I actually quite like the refresh miniatures. I think they look pretty good overall, and some nice flavour to them, and quite easily use them in Warhammer The Old World. Obviously you will have to change the bases, they are a bit more dynamic, so not potentially as easy to rank up, but by the same vein the base sizes are potentially going up a bit, so that would make them easier to rank up, and if you're building them ranked to start with you can easily fit them in, I am sure. So, with that said, they got good strength, toughness, attacks and leadership, low ballistic skill and low initiative. Equipment is a hand weapon and a shield, and their unit size is 10 plus. They can have a full command, so your champion, your musician, your standard bearer, and they've got the basic Saurus rules of cold-blooded, scaly skin of 5 plus, and predatory fighter. So that's a scaly skin of 5 plus, and they're taking a shield as well. So Saurus Warriors made up about 90% of my core units points costs, while more than double the points of a skink at 11 points a model. They get an extra weapon skill, extra strength, extra toughness, extra attack and leadership, coupled with the predatory fighter means that they're getting even potentially more attacks. Made them a dangerous core infantry unit. If you're taking up against enemy units core, these guys are going to really wreck against Empire or skeletons and stuff like that. These guys are going to do a really good job, but even against some other armies elite infantry, these guys have got a decent save and just a decent number of attacks. They're going to put a decent number of attacks on you, so a unit to be wary of if you're facing them. So overall though, I preferred to use the spears over hand weapons, and that was for the extra rank of attacks. You do get the choice of giving them spears, and that's what I preferred to do. So that's my personal choice, but I did see both hand weapons and shields and also spears on the tabletop. So next up we have the skink cohort. So skinks, they're not good overall, but they do have good movement of 6. They do come with a hand weapon, a Lustrian javelin, and shield. May have 1 Croxagore with great weapon for every 8 skinks. So basically you can take this giant Croxagore and multiple of them in a unit. They're 50 points each, and you can also upgrade skinks to have poison attacks at 2 points per model. Minimum unit size is 10, and they can have a full set of command with champion, standard bearer, musician, and so on. So special rules wise, you've got the cold-blooded, you've got scaly skin of 6 plus, so these guys aren't tough at all. Spawn kin is they can add Croxagores to the unit. Aquatic we've talked about. If you do take Croxagores, they cause fear. Croxagores also have predatory fighter and scaly skin. So personally I never took skink cohorts, preferring the damage output and survivability of Saurus Warriors, and adding Croxagore at 50 points each starts to make the unit expensive, especially if you're going to give them poisoned attacks and all these additional upgrades. That can actually be quite an expensive, very not durable and not have that much damage output unit, with the exception of Croxagore. And like I say, Aquatic, as we talked about before, is very situational. So I think they're just a better options in the special units to consider overall, while making up the core predominantly of Saurus Warriors. However, Skink Skirmishers is the final entry in the Lizardmen core units. So stats wise, they got low everything like the Skink cohort with a movement of 6, but these guys do have a hand weapon and a blowpipe at this time, and they can replace for javelins and shields for free. Unit size is 10 plus, but they can only have a champion. They can't have a musician or standard bearer. So they do get the skirmishers rule, which is nice. So I always took 1 unit of skink skirmishers. That normally contained my skink priest, and I took blowpipes. Both javelin and blowpipes are strength 3 with 12-inch range and poisoned. However, I preferred the multiple shots of the blowpipe, which is multiple shots 2, over the quick to fire rule. Also at 7 points per 7 points per model, the unit was often no bigger than 20 plus. So normally you take like 20 skink skirmishers with blowpipes, and you're just it's going for the multiple shots, getting those shots out. It's short range as it is, so you're kind of keeping them out on the flanks, trying to avoid getting hit by a unit of cavalry, or shot to pieces by enemy archers. So tricky to use because of the short range, but could have value. I think the skinks may have more value in Warhammer The Old World if they go into more objective based play, where that movement of 6 could be crucial. So we'll see how that pans out, and they really need to do something with the aquatic rule. It's nice and flavourful, but incredibly situational. I almost never saw a river, certainly never saw any marshland on the tabletops I was playing on. And that's it. That's the last. So as we can see, as I said, 2 lords, 3 heroes, and only 3 core units. Fortunately, there are plenty more units in the special category, but the Lizardman roster there not being a large one. Hope you've enjoyed this video. Hopefully it's given you a bit of a flavour of these Lizardmen core units. If you liked the video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Let me know why in the comments down below. And if you want to see more content, hit that subscribe button. It's free for you to do. It's a big deal for me, so thank you for that in advance. You've been watching The Ghost Hour. Tune back in as we start to get into the meat of the Lizardmen in their special units.